Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Podcast. I am your host, JB, and I am going to be sitting here talking with a very special person here in a few minutes. Before I go ahead and get to everything, though, let me go ahead and get to some of these comments that are already fucking rolling in. There's our buddy Chuck. Hey, now what's up, man? Hey, Chuck, sorry we're running a little bit late, but we are catching up right now. And here's Sean. Hey, brothers, awesome new intro. Yeah, I figured, fuck it. Let's make a new one. I thought it was fun. So there it is. And our buddy Rob, happy Friday. Hey, buddy, hope you're doing good, man. And our friend Ron. Hey, Ron, how's it going, man? So this week we got something fun. Before we go ahead and jump into it, I definitely want to go ahead and throw up there that obviously if you've checked out everything that's going on with the show, you know that we are doing a bunch of merch stuff right now for the comic book that is going to be coming out soon. So please go check out some of our merch links, which I have posted on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So check out this, go follow it, go check out some of the gear that's going to be gone once the actual comic book is up on Kickstarter. So check it out while you get the chance. So with that being said, I am done promoting myself, and I am going to talk about the front of the show now, Morrigan Thompson.
Hi.
Hello there. How are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am doing pretty fucking good. I've the pre-show chat, I think, was very entertaining, and I found out that I definitely have a lot more in common with you than, let's just say, anime, horror, and comic books. It's definitely a very, very fun conversation, and may I say thank you very much for taking your time to come on here, discussing a few things as well as Tales from the Crypt.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I enjoyed this episode very much.
Did you enjoy it with a stick of butter?
I did enjoy it with a stick of butter. Actually, really fast, have you ever tried butter with vinegar and tahini?
No, that does not even sound appealing to me.
I know that a lot of people think it's gross, but like it's good.
Is it? I will take your word on it, and I will tell you what, I will at least give it a shot.
You should. It's just like fried butter. If you had fried butter at a fair, then you'll like this too.
I live in Ohio, and I've never seen fried butter at a fair, which is weird because you would think that would be everywhere in Ohio.
Here in Mansfield, we have like little fairs in little podunk towns. So
Right.
like the Ashland Fair, and there's like the Richland County Fair, which they're kind of big, but also not very big. They have all kinds of good fried food, and it's the most random stuff, and I like to try it all. And I happened to try fried butter one time, and I loved it, and ever since.
I'm definitely gonna have to give it a shot. I've actually been in that area before, but only to the prison.
I used to work at the haunt that is in the prison now. Super
Ooh.
fun.
Yeah, well, if you can't tell, that's exactly things that are like right up my alley. Going to haunted places in general. Like, yeah,
Same.
definitely. And Ron's already chatting in here. You can't go anywhere in Ohio right now without getting snow dogs to try to find your dead body.
That is so true. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Actually, I wish I could show you my car, Ron, because it is snowed in. I drive a little Chevy Spark, and she is covered.
I'm happy I have a Sierra myself. But I'll be honest with everybody. pull back the cover a little bit. I work for USPS, so I had to work during all of this
Oh my gosh,
every
really?
day, and I drive in it for a living. So
Mm.
yeah.
Thank
You
you
know,
for delivering me my snacks.
yeah. Unfortunately, everybody wants their snacks delivered these days, and nobody wants to shovel their driveways.
Well, we were nice and we shoveled for our mailman, so we shoveled him a little path through the yard and the driveway.
That's very sweet of you. I wish I was your mailman because I'm going to tell you right now, none of our people over here did.
He delivers me some really, really weird shit sometimes, and I know that he knows it's always the same one. We have a connection. So I feel like the least I can do for his trauma is make his job a little easier.
That's very nice of you, and you'd be surprised how many times that we actually do know what's being shipped.
Sometimes I wonder if they sit there and look at it and they're like, dildo.
No, actually, you would be surprised, but no, not that. I will say the most fun thing is like seeing all of the crazy propaganda type mail that comes through, like the stuff that's still about Donald Trump right now is, and some of the stuff that's on there is just fucking insane. Like, how
I
are they allowed to even print this?
I keep seeing Trump 2024 flags popping up, and like I don't like to get into politics because,
I wasn't meaning to bring it into
but no,
politics.
it's okay.
I
I
just
think
think
that
it's
it's
funny
absolutely
some of the
ridiculous
stuff.
that they're still gunning for it. Like, whatever your choice, but also your choice is kind of sucky.
Yeah, I will go 100% agree with that. Rod says here in Wisconsin we got like maybe 3 inches. Well, lucky you.
Yeah, it
Not
must
here.
be nice.
Not here. And Chuck says hats off, bro. I'm sure he's talking about me having to drive in the snow. And I mean they might worry if the vibrator starts going off in their bag. Um
I
I
wish
guess so, but usually they don't ship with batteries.
sometimes they do ship them pre-charged.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, maybe they could accidentally, bump it or sit on it and then it just like I would be so thoroughly embarrassed if my mailman delivered me a pre-vibrating package.
I I if that's ever happened to anybody, please go to the Tales from the Facebook pod, like the Tales from the Podcast Facebook page. Scroll down, you'll see our phone number on there. And if you could leave me a voicemail, the Google phone number on there is 419-469-5172. If that's ever happened, please, I want to hear about it. I will send you some free shit.
I want to also hear about it. So, yeah,
I will
please
send
send
you
that to
the
him
audio
because I
clips.
gotta know. I gotta know.
Right. No, 100%. If that's ever happened, please, I'm begging you, send me a voicemail. Let me know the story. So, anyways, I I do know that you've actually done. I mean, you do quite a bit. Like you're not just an indie actress in general, but I mean, you work. You do just in general quite a bit. It's kind of hard to put a specific title to what you do.
Kind of how I like it. I like to be a hodgepodge of things.
Right. So let's just call it that then. Your
Yeah.
hodgepodge of things,
Nice. I like
which
that.
which does include a couple of films. I will say that a lot of the films that you've been in are really really difficult to actually try to get a hold of, and I'm sure you've noticed the same thing.
Um, the reason being is because quite a few of them are still in production right now. With indie filming, there is always that what if, the budget runs over, or what if someone doesn't want something in the film anymore and then you have to cut it out and then refilm things to go around it and stuff like that. So there's a couple that haven't been released. And then Roboob, the farting robot monster, which is by far my favorite title I've ever done. Logan
I
Fry
was
is
very
the
upset that I couldn't find that one. I mean, I was
He hasn't released
legitimately
it yet
upset.
because it's over in Germany and other countries still touring. I filmed that when I was like 18, 19 years old, and it is still over in other countries winning and doing things. So that's why he hasn't posted it yet.
I just the title of it
Is
makes me
phenomenal.
really
I can send you the clip of me in it, like me and my partner dying in it. later on if you want. I have
I
that.
I I would thoroughly enjoy that. I was looking for anything about that one because I mean getting you on here and everything. Of course, I'm going to look into some of the stuff that you've done, and I was able to see the I believe it was Apartment 49. Uh,
Yes,
I was able to see um the Curse of Lilith Ratchet, which is probably the easiest film that you have to
that
find
is.
because
You
it's
can find it on
free on
Tubi. They
Tubi.
sell it at Walmart. It's everywhere right now.
Right. And then one that you and I were actually talking about, and I was kind of hoping we could spill it over a little bit onto the show too, was Girl Bloodsport, which I was able to actually watch for free
I'm
online as
super glad
well.
you've seen it.
If
Super
you
glad.
want to, if I can find it again, I will definitely send it to you. I will say that the I don't know if it was the quality of what I found or just the quality of it in general, but it wasn't the greatest.
What am I doing exactly?
Um, there really wasn't anything. Like you were like you were just there for a few minutes. Like not even minutes. It was like I think you were like a cover girl on there. And they would just like go back and forth and they were interviewing people and there was like kind of cheesy-ish fights in between. It was kind of like a very this is going to sound really bad and kind of date me a little bit, but it was kind of like a very scripted, poorly made bum fights with interviews in between.
Oh my god.
If that makes any sense to
I've
you.
watched bum fights.
Like, I said it's going to sound really bad, and I hope people don't look at me differently for that. But
It's not good. It's not good that the guy was doing what he's doing, but you cannot help but laugh at some of them. You
who
can't.
would argue with that?
I
Chuck
haven't
says
seen
bum
it.
fights.
I've never seen it, so I wouldn't
No,
know.
no, it's I will say out of all of them, like you did not have a lot to do with it in general, and that was the editing on it made it really hard to watch, to say the least. It wasn't nearly as much fun as the Curse of Lilith Ratchet, for instance.
Well, I did not. Um, I'm trying to remember because I actually do suffer from borderline and I have really bad memory issues. So when something goes like wrong and someone does something to like make me not trust them, I kind of push them out of my head. And the guy that filmed that movie actually reached out to me when I was a new model and new actress on the scene. And he was reaching out to me to do magazine work, to do like photo shoots with him. And I think his real name is Kelly. I can't remember. There's other girls that have talked like openly about how this person is problematic and kind of predatory.
They go by Russell Brown online, at least. On
Is that it? Well, I
the
think there was
writer and
another
director of
person
it
attached to
was
Girl Fights magazine, and that's the magazine. Girl Fights magazine is the thing that I was talking to at that time, the company.
right. Right, yeah, and yeah, on this right here, like, you were just, like, clipped for, like, the covers of it or something. You were, like, the cover girl on this.
There was one time that I agreed to be in a magazine for them, and it was just a magazine, and it was photos completely shot by someone else. I would not travel to them because they sent me a script, and it was not even a script. They were sending me, like, mushed up lines via Messenger. And then they were like telling me that I couldn't travel with someone, that there wasn't going to be any pay, and like that I was going to have to do all these fight scenes and all this like weird lewd stuff that I was not accustomed to because I was not doing what I do now then when this happened. It was just really uncomfortable. So I kind of backed away, blocked them, and told them no. So it's really sucky to like log on to IMDb and see the credit there.
Right. No, I could definitely understand that, that's for sure. Obviously not knowing too much about that, and, we didn't get into that whole part of the conversation earlier, so I know this was, like, something that was gonna spill over, but that's kinda interesting it all happened kinda like that. Like, ugh, like, for sure. I wonder there's probably a way for you to actually probably get rid of a lot of that stuff that is on there. I would assume, at
I
least.
don't really like I don't really know. And because it's only me on a cover, if perhaps it's the magazine that I agreed to, then that means that I also agreed for them to use that magazine in my likeness and anything else that they do. So it's
Right.
not like I could be like, hey, take my image off there because I already agreed that they could do it. But since now I know that it's not them like weird CGIing my body into some kind of weird fight, which is the vibe I was getting, which was like poorly CGI.
No, no.
I was very nervous about like, did they CGI like some big rack on me? I want to see.
No, I wouldn't say they went to that kind of extreme. It was just the movie in general. Like, I'll definitely find it later on and send it to you because it was a rough thing to actually get through. I'll be honest with you. Just
She
it was
has
just
other work too that's kind of similar, I believe, and it's equally as rough.
oh really? Well, I mean, I usually give everything at least a chance, and I mean, rough or not, like, I mean, like I said earlier, like the Lilith Ratchet was a fun, enjoyable, quick watch.
Oh,
So
that was such a fun set.
I could definitely see that. That's for sure. I mean, it seemed like you guys were all friends.
Everyone was super friendly, and like that was my first big movie, like big film set, and first like lots of lines and big script kind of thing. So I was really nervous, I was really shy, and all of the people were very friendly, very welcoming, helped me run my lines and kind of get into character. It was really nice.
That's really cool. It definitely has to be a lot nicer when everyone's actually there, kind of helping along the way too. Would you say that's probably the most enjoyable film set that you've been on out of everything that you've done?
No. Um,
No.
I
What
know
would
that
you say
sounded really
is?
bad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. No,
No,
actually,
you're fine. You're fine.
my favorite film set that I have been on was Vicious Sisters and The House That Eats Flesh, both of which were directed by Josh Graves. Phenomenal cast, phenomenal director. His wife is such an angel. They were so sweet and understanding about everything, and all of them were so like in tune with each other, and like we could tell when someone needed a break and when someone needed uplifting and like that pat on the back to keep going kind of thing. It was very nice. He did a very good job at selecting everyone.
That's really cool. I know I've been personally waiting for that one to get released for quite a while. Just curious. I don't know if you're at liberty to say so or anything, but is there any mentions of a release date for that?
I have not heard anything.
No.
And if I did hear something, I probably wouldn't be allowed to say.
Fair enough. That's why I asked first. You know,
My
I don't want
secrets
to
are
get
always
nobody in
safe with you
trouble.
because I will forget them, I promise.
I love it. That's great. Chuck says, "I want to see sorry, I want to see the house that eats flesh. I wrote a novel a few years back called The House of Flesh, so the title intrigues me."
I like the name of that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, Chuck's one of my co-hosts for my other show that I do, and he actually wrote one of the stories in the comic book that we have coming up too.
Nice, very
Yes, yes.
nice.
And Ron Pertee is part of that group as well, who mentions Morrigan
Hodgepodge Tom.
Thompson. So
That is I.
I'll have to switch your name later. No.
Please, please.
So, anyways, before we go ahead and get into this and everything, I do want people to be able to check you out. So I'm going to definitely go ahead and post some links here for everybody. But uh, I do know that I'll post your Twitter as well because I know you're pretty popular on there to say the least. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get those all set up to show everybody. So if you have any chance to check out anything that Morrigan has going on, you can check her out at her Twitter at twitter.com/morgxa. I'm pretty sure she probably does some pretty fun things there at her OnlyFans, which I don't really know how to pronounce that website, but there it is right there with links right to it. Um, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Pocket Stars or Fansly, but guess what, guys? You got the links right there, so you can check her out everywhere. Follow her and have a good time. I'm sure she would love for you to go and check out everything that she has going on.
I would much appreciate it. Come to the dark side. We have ass.
There, you heard it here, guys. They have love it. I I'm a Star Wars fan. I love the saber. And this definitely has to be one of your friends here. Jada Allen
Ah,
Metcon.
that's my cousin Jada. Hi.
She says, "Good luck tonight. Can't wait to watch all." Thank you very much for tuning in or tuning in later. And local perv of the show here, Ron. Fansly is like OnlyFans. Not that I know anything about that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure. He has no idea what
it
it
is
is.
like OnlyFans, but kind of better and a little more secure.
Fair enough. And Chuck says, "Come to the dark side. We have ass." I think he meant to say needs a shirt.
That
Should.
if anyone can make that, please, I will pay you and I will wear it and promote it.
I can definitely have it made.
Oh my god, I would wear the shit out of it. If you do, like, you could put Tales from the podcast on the back.
Oh,
So I can promo the show while I promo the ass, or like reverse because the ass is in the back.
all right, fine. So it's like, welcome to the dark side. We have ass. Do you have a picture of you with like a Darth Vader helmet on? And then like, you go ahead, take like a picture of your ass, then the Darth Vader helmet, and you right there. And
I
then
don't have a Darth
those
Vader
text
helmet, but
right
I
on
can
it.
get one and make this happen.
You send it to me. I will have this shirt ready to go in 10
I'm
minutes.
excited.
So anyways, guys, we are going to be talking about something and kind of switching things over a little bit. So I invited you on, and we were going to discuss an episode of Tales from the Crypt. So with that being said, I usually like to start off with a very, very simple question, and probably one of the more intriguing questions that I get asked, just because it's always a different answer. But what got you into something like Tales from the Crypt?
My father raised me like it was the 1980s, and I'm not complaining. I'm just that's like where it like stemmed from. So all of the horror movies that I watched and all of the shows that I watched were from the 80s and the 90s. And one of those shows happened to be Tales from the Crypt. And I got into actually the movies before I got into the shows.
Which movies, if you don't mind me asking?
Demon Knight was a really big one for me. Billy Zane.
That's a good one.
Is so good. Bordello of Blood, I believe, is its own separate movie as well. Yes, that is a good one. That is
There's
a
a
really
little bit of
fucking
a
good one.
tie-in.
That one's saucy.
You do have William Sadler in both films.
I forgot that he was in both of those. He's in a lot of episodes, isn't he?
Yeah, he actually, I believe he is the mummy in the beginning of Bordello of Blood when they're talking.
Oh my gosh, that's why I thought that. That makes sense.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Oh yeah, and then the key is actually in both of them.
Is it? I didn't notice the key.
Yeah. In Bordello of Blood, they use the blood against the vampire. And then in the original one, obviously he's chasing him for the key. The third movie, I don't know if you ever watched The Ritual. It's definitely not as good. No. Did you ever get a chance to watch the original Tales from the Crypt films from the 70s?
I have seen them, but I don't know enough to like talk about them extensively.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was just curious if you had a chance to actually watch those, because
I have seen a few of them. Yeah,
I personally really love the Amicus films. In fact, I think the Amicus version of All Through the House, which is the Christmas episode of Tales from the Crypt from the first season, is probably one of my favorite segments ever done.
I didn't know the correlation of the two. I just knew that episode always reminded me of the older movies that I saw as a kid.
Yeah, they did.
And now that makes sense.
The original version of that on film, which they're all, adapted from the 50s comic books.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting. It seems like you had a pretty fucking cool dad, and it seems like we might have had the same dad growing up, because my childhood was vaguely similar.
Larry is pretty rad.
Yeah. My dad grew up with a lot of the 80s horror movies, given them to me, but I don't think it was more about the horror for him as much as it was like there was a high chance you were going to see boobs.
It was like a healthy mix of both with mine. because a lot of the movies that he like let me watch and introduced me to were like sleazeball B-80 horror movies. So of course they made up for like the bad acting or the bad effects with like titties and extra blood,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is the
basically.
best way to do it.
No,
In my
no,
opinion.
you are 100% right there. I mean, if you're not gonna have one way to captivate viewers, you better use the other way. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So, anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and get right into this episode because I mean, this episode's it's a pretty fun one, but it's a pretty cut and dry episode as far as like actually breaking it down for what it is. So this episode is People Who Live in Brass Hearses, based off the comic book The Vault of Horror, issue number 27. And this episode originally came out October 13th of 1993.
I was still swimming in my dad's nuts when this came out. Wow.
Yeah, I was 5. Yeah,
You have aged gracefully, sir.
thank you. Thank you. I've actually
Mhm.
you know, I got carded recently. So,
I
you know,
recently stopped
definitely makes
getting
you feel
carded and
great.
it made me really sad.
Really? Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, I do notice if I fully shave, I definitely go on. I can pull off being 18 again.
Oh, you have baby
I
face.
have, yeah.
Cute.
No, I got baby face, but mixed with baby face, I also have receding hairline. So it's not good. You can, I guess life has to bring you down one way.
It's one or the other. You never get both.
No, no, no. It's a pretty sad life I live. But it could be worse though. It could
It
be
could be
worse.
much worse. It could be
Right.
much worse.
Oh, definitely. But this episode was directed by Russell McCaughey, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we're gonna say I am.
You are.
And Scott Nimmerfro wrote this screenplay for this one. Now, the important part about this episode, though, is the fact that, of course, we have John Cassier doing the voice of the Crypt Keeper, which I will say, personally, with this one, I I don't think the tie-ins kind of met the episode as good as some of the other episodes. I
I
thought
agree.
ones were fun, but I feel like the tie-ins in the beginning just weren't there as strong as at least as with other episodes.
It didn't seem like there was much connection really to the episode itself at all. It just looked like it was more of a fun skit for the Crypt Keeper on his own.
Right, which is great, I
Yeah, I
still enjoyed
completely
it for what
agree.
it was, but I did notice that it was just compared to other episodes, it was just not the same when it came to that part.
No,
You
no, it
know,
was not. When I was watching it, I like kind of thought the same thing when it started. I was like, this feels like they kind of didn't know what to put here, maybe. So they just were like, yo, here,
right.
take this.
Well, I know all the Crypt Keeper segments were actually filmed differently than the actual TV show.
I
And
did not know that.
yeah, they were actually filmed with entirely different crews. So like Kevin Yeager, his special effects team were the ones that did like the Crypt Keeper segments and all that because he was the one that did the like the animatronic stuff for Child's Play, and he did Bill and Ted. Big time special effects guy. And then I know that Todd Masters was the one doing a lot of the stuff for the shows, which are like their own separate productions. But occasionally there were crossovers, like the episode that Arnold Schwarzenegger did. He was on the Crypt Keeper segments for that, obviously, and but most of the time there wasn't too much of a crossover there whatsoever. But they would still kind of make it relatable in a sense. This one
Yeah,
just
that's,
seemed like it was, well, we got this one extra. Let's go ahead and try to throw it into an
yeah,
episode.
exactly.
But it was still a fun one though. I still enjoyed it. Anyways, we also have Lainey Kazan in this episode as well as Miss Grafunger. And we got Bill Paxton, and this is Billy DeLusa. And I will say probably one of my I don't know if I'd say favorite, but I really, really enjoy watching this guy work. Brad Dourif in this episode as Virgil, which I think I don't know because I've never like gone back and actually checked. Because I mean, let's be honest, Brad Dourif has done a lot of stuff, but I think this was like his I don't know. I'd feel really stupid if I was wrong about this one, but I feel like this was probably the earliest like Western kind of stuff he was doing it. Well, no, I don't think it was because he's done some other stuff in the 70s called like WW and the Dixie Dance Kings. But I feel like this was a early version of like a Western type story thing or like a Southern kind of accent that he was pulling off like before he did something like Deadwood, which is probably one of his greater acting opportunities that he ever got to do. You know, minus of course like some of his more iconic roles, because you know everybody knows him as Chucky. Let's be honest. But I mean, the dude's just an amazing actor all the way around, and like everything he's ever done.
I agree. I have only seen him in a select few things because growing up, I only really mainly knew him from Child's Play, and I
Right.
was literally in love with. I loved Chucky. I had a Tiffany doll that I slept with.
Oh, really?
I am pretty sure my parents
Well,
probably thought that I was going to be a serial killer at some point.
he
Yeah.
was in something that we talked about earlier.
He was a traveling salesman in a movie called Priest with Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
We talked about that, and that was probably one of my favorite roles that I can remember him in personally. But that's just because I liked his entire costuming. That person that did his costuming did a phenomenal job. The makeup, the
Oh
hair,
yeah.
he just looked really he looked like something I would see out of one of the video games I used to play as a kid, like one of the like mystical, bad guys that's trying to lure you in, which essentially is he was playing a bad guy. So
Right. There's actually something very specific to what we were talking about earlier too, though. Did you know he played Wormtongue on Lord of the Rings?
no,
Yes, that's Brett Dourif.
that's
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god. That just makes it kind of. Oh my god.
yeah. He was also in probably one of my least favorite movies too. Halloween 2, the
Who?
Rob
Oh,
Zombie
who
one.
was he in Halloween 2? The Rob Zombie remake, right?
Yeah. He was a sheriff.
You're right. Oh my god. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
He's the dad. He's the dad. The daughter's dad.
Yeah. That one was
Cute,
a
not smart.
pretty
I liked him
decent
in that
one.
one too. I like when he is sitting at the dinner table and he said, "Oh no, it's slipping my mind. It'll come to me while we're talking. I'm sorry. I'll think of it."
Oh no, you're fine. I did notice this too though that I'm not sure if this is a direct sequel because I haven't heard too much about this, and this is just something that has been announced. But he is going to be Dr. William Blackmore in Herbert West Reanimator coming up soon.
They couldn't have cast Herbert West better if he is.
I am hoping that's exactly what it is. It's just announced though; it's not in pre-production or anything, so definitely hoping for the best.
That would
And
be
then
that would be some bomb casting if they actually did that. I
no, I agree. And let's go ahead and see what his teammate here is up to. What has Bill Paxton done lately? No, I'm joking. That's a horrible joke.
so can I just be honest for a second?
Yes.
I didn't know that was Bill Paxton.
Really?
I know Bill Paxton from True Blood.
Okay.
And that Bill Paxton and the Bill Paxton I was looking at in the episode are not the same people. And I feel like he's like Brad Pitt and he aged in reverse. It was crazy.
I could definitely see that.
It was crazy. And I mean, in True Blood is like a completely different person, completely different body type, face structure, hair. I mean, I know he aged and all that stuff, but like you couldn't even see a trace of the man that was in this episode at all.
No, not in the least bit.
It blew my mind a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you 100% right. It's funny here. Rob says Brad Dwarf in anything, is anything he's in.
Especially Exorcist 3.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to say that he's. Oh, there we go.
Is
It's
Exorcist
fantastic.
3 is that the one with the serial killer Gemini?
That's the one where they lost me. I'm gonna be 100%
Well, I
honest.
was just the only reason I remember that is because that's like a lot of serial killers that I've been listening to last podcast all left like crazy right now. A lot of serial killers from that time period, they say that that movie is one of the ones that inspired them to go out and start killing. Like the Gemini killer spoke to them.
Huh. Yeah, and yes, it is that. It is that one for sure.
Cool, cool, cool.
But yeah, definitely. And Rob says yes. Gemini Killer.
Thank you.
Just 3 was badass.
I didn't mind it. I liked it.
No, I don't know what it was. You know, certain ones just that one just wasn't for me personally. Doesn't mean it's a horrible film or anything, but I just personally didn't care for it.
A lot of people didn't really like it. It's okay.
No, it just is what it is. And we also got Michael Lerner in this episode as Mr. Bird, who may I say did a fantastic job in this episode. Now you're talking also about somebody who's been in a shit ton of everything. He was in Godzilla, Elf, X-Men. I mean, the dude's just done a ton of fucking shit. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what he's done. I mean, the dude has over 200 acting roles, tons and tons of TV shows, tons and tons of films. You know, I mean, things going back to like even like MASH, Ironside. I mean, the dude's been acting since the early 60s. And I mean, huh?
Oh my gosh. I forgot.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. It really, really is. And I believe he's still around too. Yeah, he is. He's actually still filming stuff right now.
Oh
He's doing, yeah. He has first Oscar being filmed this year.
What is that, like a drama?
Let's go ahead and take a look real quick. First Oscar story behind making the first documentary winner of the Academy Awards in 1943. So it's about the first time somebody won one.
That sounds like I might sleep, but it's okay. I'm glad he's still kicking. Good for him.
Right. He did Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein TV movie in 2019. I never saw that, but
Wow, that was bad.
That was bad.
It was
a
really bad review, but I also try to be honest.
No. I would prefer the honesty of it. I just from the title of it, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm probably still gonna check it out.
I would watch it. It's worth it. But now that I've made that connection, because that was a one and done movie for me. Yeah, I don't know if I would have cast that man as. I don't know if I would have cast that. No.
Really?
No.
See, Chuck's chatting in here. I don't remember Bill Paxton in True Blood. His son was in it.
Was it his son?
I don't know. I'll be honest.
I think it's Bill. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure it's Bill Paxton.
I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and I'll take a look real quick for everybody.
You know, that might make a little sense. And also, guys, cute, not smart. If I haven't said that already. Cute, not smart.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate the honesty. Oh wow, it's there's quite the cast list here.
Oh, they had so many people on that show, man.
Yeah, and they don't have them in order by name.
It might be easier to do Bill Paxton True Blood, maybe.
Right. Actually Google it itself.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard with those long cast lists because sometimes they do alphabetically or some crap, and that just makes it hard.
Right. No. I'm not seeing it on here actually for Bill Paxton.
It might be his kid then, and that would make so much sense that they don't look the same. That would make so much sense.
I'm not 100% sure who it was, but yeah.
If someone could Google that and put that in the comments for us so that we could know. So I can stop telling people that it's Bill Paxton that's in True Blood.
No, we're just gonna make you keep doing that. No.
I'll forget and I'll start doing it again.
Oh man, that's great. I don't really I don't know if I don't know Bill Paxton's kid's name. Is it John Paxton maybe? I don't know.
Ooh, see, I don't know. That's why I remember there being a Paxton in True Blood, and that's why I thought it was
Anna Paxton. No,
that sounds like a lady name.
It is a lady name. It really is. But
I
you never
try not
know.
to judge
Fiona
because
Dourif did a great
Ash's real
job in
name
the
is
Chucky
Ashley,
show.
and he's a manly man.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody knows. Feel free
Yeah,
to.
please help because I really feel like now I might have been doing a boo boo. Oh no.
Oh man. Well, it could be much worse. That's for sure.
It could be so much worse.
Yeah. I was thinking of Anna Paquin anyway. I was the wrong name in general.
How could I forget Sookie?
Right. Actually, it looks like it's James Paxton.
James Paxton?
That's what I'm seeing online. But I am.
Maybe it is his kid. Interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and watch True Blood now.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Wow. Oh, so I'm a little disappointed. I'm gonna need you to go at least watch the first 2 seasons. After that, I don't care.
Okay, fair enough.
First
Fair
2
enough.
are phenomenal.
I will give you that. I will give you that, and at least check it out. Or as I told Ron the other day, I usually give everything a 2 to 3 episode try.
That's what I do as
If
well.
it catches me, then I'll keep going. If it doesn't, I won't watch it. And I mean, according to Ron, I've missed out on some really good shows because Breaking Bad didn't get me.
I don't like
Sons of Anarchy didn't get me.
Okay, well, hey now.
I'm just
Sons of Anarchy didn't get me until I got emotionally attached to all them motherfuckers, and then they started dying, and then I'm a woman.
Was that after the third
everything.
episode?
I think that the first person I was attached to that died was in the 3rd episode.
Yeah, the 3rd episode's where I gave up on it personally.
Yeah, it was rough. That's where I was like, maybe I should keep going. Breaking Bad, though, the only reason I watched that show was because my ex was into it and it played in the background all the time, so I figured give it a go. No. Walter does not. He does none of that is good for me. It was no.
Huh. Yeah, I just never got around to them. I just something about it. I couldn't get into it, and I mean, even in the middle of a show, if a show goes like, I say I get really into it, and then they get to like season 6, and there's like 5-6 episodes in a row that really suck. I'll quit watching a show too.
I hate when that happens. That happens quite often in anime because they might run out of storyline because the manga isn't as long as they want it to be, or they haven't.
They'll start writing new scripts on their own. Yeah.
Yes, and it drives me insane. Sometimes, because I love One Piece, but every once in a while they'll go off on a tangent episode, and it kind of makes me want to stop watching it.
Well, isn't that basically the entire GT series of Dragon Ball?
GT was it was not canon whatsoever. And what's funny is Super Saiyan
4.
I don't know what the J stands for. It's SSJ4. The half monkey, half man is literally my favorite Super Saiyan level up.
And then as soon as Super came out, they just replaced it.
I love it.
Oh.
Love it.
I feel you. I just think it's hilarious because it's like, yeah, none of this happened.
No, none of it did. And the thing where Goku is constantly a little child and then turns into a full-grown man really, really gets me, man. I'm like, what was going through Toriyama's head when he just said, put that on the screen?
I don't think he cared.
No, I think anyone will watch anything if they like it enough, clearly, because I own all of the seasons on DVD.
Watch them all too.
I am not ashamed. I own merchandise.
Right. Yeah. Even though we know how horrible some of the stuff was, it's like, we still watched it. It's okay.
GT was our Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks was my Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks was really, really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest addition to the early, not the early Star Wars, but the episodes 1, 2, and 3. But I mean, it could have been much worse. George Lucas is definitely a better world creator than a storyteller.
Oh god,
and when they gave him full reins over or the prequels, that's what we got, was him telling his story.
I feel like, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, that Roger from American Dad really did go back in time and tell Lucas to draw Jar Binks.
I love Roger from American Dad.
Roger
I
is
love the
literally,
fucking
I don't
reference.
say it enough, he's my spirit animal. I love that alien. Oh, he's so good.
That's great. Well, I'm gonna reel it back in though, and talk about this butter eating episode. So, this episode's kind of an odd one, to say the least, as far as like Tales from the Crypt episodes go, at least, for sure. I mean, we don't get your typical type of stuff going on in this episode in general, which is a little bit different. Like I'd say there's definitely not as much horror in this one. It has a little bit of it near the end, but that's basically it. And what it is we got Bill and Virgil, who are brothers. Virgil obviously has some kind of mental problem, and his brother's definitely taking advantage of him. And his brother works at a ice cream place, and what Bill Paxton's character just got done doing 2 years of hard time, which gets mentioned like 40 times while he's eating sticks of butter. Which, no offense, I've known people that done way worse time. 2 years isn't really a long time for much. Like, I don't know, maybe I've just known people that are like
He
way
has a
worse
classic
people.
like pick me personality, which is what I think they wanted for that character. Like
Yeah,
the woe is me, every bad thing that happens to me is not my fault, it's everyone else's fault kind of thing. That's a big trend throughout this entire episode, is where everything is the brother's fault.
right. He
Whereas
plays that role well.
he really does. He plays that role phenomenal. Well, which one? Because I think they both do a really good job.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I'd say that Bill Paxton plays it so well that you're not sure if he's really like that.
I
And
agree.
Brad Dourif, I mean, that dude, like, something like this kind of just shows his acting chops, because it's not something he would normally play, but how well he plays that character, which I don't think would even pass in today's time.
It wouldn't, but for what
But
he
he
does, I think he did
does,
good.
he did amazing. I mean, to be able to pull off that character without trying to make it look in a horrible way and actually make it look legitimate, I think he did a great job, personally.
I do too. I think that there's a way to play someone that has mental disabilities, and
Right,
he
without making
definitely nailed
fun.
it right on the head. He did it very respectfully. He portrayed it perfectly. We knew that he was a little slower, kind of. He did
Right.
really well.
I will say though, the Jesse James versus Predator comic book was a really, really cool throwback there. Which,
That was probably one of my favorite little things in the episode, because I remember reading that growing up because my dad had those from his youth.
right. It's funny. As soon as I said that, I like the comic Brad's reading Jesse James versus Predator. Yes, exactly. That was a really, really cool throwback. I loved all those versus Predator things, and even when they did the versus like Mars Attacks, when they did that whole run, that was a lot of fun too. But anyways, going back into this episode, we get two brothers who are, well, I guess Bill Paxton's character is basically running the show, and he's pretty much plotting a way for them to get back at Mr. Bird, who ratted him out for stealing ice cream and selling it to make a few extra bucks. Which
Nope, not taking the money. He was taking the ice cream.
stealing. He got 2 years for taking ice cream.
How do you walk into a prison and sup boys, 2 years
Right.
of serving for stealing Sundays?
Right? Like, I don't know how God, that's a hard one to try to get over as a man trying to be a hard ass in prison.
It really took me back because for a second I watched it twice because I
You got
had
in
to see
trouble for
if
stealing
he
ice
actually
cream.
got put in prison for ice cream or if like he was stealing money with the ice cream. But no, it really was all ice cream.
Right. Rob says San Quentin too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's San Quentin for stealing ice cream. Like, it's really funny when you break that part of it down. It really is. Anyway, so they have this huge plot, and they're basically going to be getting back at Mr. Bird, attacking him, as well as stealing from Miss Gruffunger and stealing from the safe. But it ends up going horrible. Virgil, Brad Dourif's character, ends up stabbing the hell out of Miss Gruffunger, and like to an extreme level too. I mean, there's blood all over the room. While trying to hide everything and watching Miss Gruffunger, who didn't even die, start to crawl out, then Bill Paxton's character has to go over and hook her in the head and drag her body.
Did we ever see where they get the hook from, or was that just something he kind of pulled out of his butt?
I don't know. It's kind of weird because like you would assume that like that would be something readily available in like a meat locker.
And not an ice cream.
An ice cream place. Why they would have that anywhere?
Maybe they are like also using that space to like practice for the new theatrical version of Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's very possible. That wouldn't be the new version. That was in the 90s, so it'd be like the original version.
Yeah,
maybe
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Thank you.
Maybe they were filming Ice Pirates there at the same time. Oh, God. And Rob says he grabs it from a nearby crate. Yeah, but like,
but still, why was it?
Why is it an ice cream factory?
You know, I mean, I guess I could see if maybe someone was using it to like open crates, but isn't that kind of what a crowbar is for?
Right. Then again, though, and I don't mean to be rude in any way, but I've never worked in an ice cream factory before. Maybe that hook is a very practical instrument for working at an ice cream
factory. It is, and we are being very, very, very rude about someone's livelihood right now.
Right.
I sincerely apologize to anyone
working for an ice cream place. He's like, but I have to use my hooks every day.
I did not know. I better education.
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
I'm gonna Google it when we get off of here so I can know how people actually open shit at ice cream shops. I want to
know. The crates you open with the crowbar, I can guarantee that.
Well, no, maybe you're right. Maybe they do use a hook.
I don't know.
We'll never know.
But Gruffunger gets hooked in the head and pulled across. They end up going to check the safe, which was already locked. And that's when you see the entire area just covered in blood. After that, though, like they end up basically just leaving and then think, like, well, they'll go after Mr. Bird. He has money there. After going in there, they shoot him right in the head, blow his fucking head like half off. And that's when Bill Paxton finds a bunch of money in the freezer. And after coming back to go get his brother, he can't find him. And then out walks Mr. Bird. And then when you figure out that Mr. Bird is actually a Siamese twin, shoots off Bill Paxton's leg from the shin down and kind of just leaves him there as he tells him about it. And then you see him driving around in his half-priced ice cream truck, which is funny because half of him is dead at the moment, just rotting in the back.
You left out the best part. They're connected at the ass.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, this is technically the third time that we have a Siamese twin.
Is it? Oh yeah, they do have Siamese twins a couple of times in the series.
In the Lower Berth episode that Kevin Yeager directed, Kevin Yeager's brother actually plays the Siamese twins that are connected by the face, who end up having sex with the mummy, and that's how they give birth to the Crypt Keeper. And that's the origin story of the Crypt Keeper himself. And then they also have this episode with, I've had him on the show, Timothy Stack, a great actor from one of my favorite comedy shows, Son of the Beach, where him and his brother in the episode are connected by the hip ass area as well. So this is the third time we're getting like a Siamese twin done in this kind of way. But yeah, you're right. They're connected by the ass facing back to back, which is
Yeah.
very, very weird. But
Yeah, that was an interesting way to connect. You know, no judgment. It was an interesting way, though. It was.
it makes you wonder how they were sitting down.
I want to know how they were pooping.
Tandem.
That is the question that my brain immediately went to because in the last scene, they're sitting on the thing in the ice cream truck, and I'm looking at them and how they're sitting, and that just doesn't. The math for the body and it just doesn't. I imagine life with the brother was a little difficult.
I would go ahead and say yes. I don't really know though, but yeah, you're right. And you know what, Rob, you are correct. We just did that episode. I forgot about that. Food for Thought also had Siamese twin ladies that you get to see naked in a old time circus shower.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That is actually, I believe, the episode right before this one.
I'm really upset that I could have just scrolled up and clicked on that one.
If you would like, I will send you the link for that episode later.
I'm gonna need to see that.
Not a problem. That's basically the episode in a nutshell. Now I did read the comic book, and of course, I always go through and talk about just the differences. There's no point in me going through and telling two stories that are basically the same when I could just go through and tell you the differences. Now I do know that I sent you the comic book for this as well. Did you get a chance to check that out at all or no?
I read over it a little bit, but I did not read the whole thing. So if there's a
Okay.
pop quiz, I'm going to fail.
Oh no, not at all. But if you do have anything that you would like to add, feel free. So obviously with the comic books, you know, you get your main differences with, you know, this was originally written in the 50s compared to the 90s. So you're going to have some time frame differences which are pretty much common. Now, what I'm basically looking for when I do a lot of these differences is basically just the plot. And really when you go and take this story and break it down, the entire plot still kind of stays the same. Instead of an ice cream driver, we have a older man who rides around in a hearse wagon, who is just getting supplies. He's not going around selling things to kids or anything. And while at home one day, he ends up getting robbed by fugitives. And they end up shooting him, and they go outside in their backyard to dig up a grave, come back to still see the guy there, and he ends up going and killing them. And that's basically the whole story. I will say the ending of it is a little bit more gruesome because they show exactly the decomposing at a farther extent than what they did on the TV show, which I think is pretty cool. But the basic idea of having Siamese twins, one of them being killed by a incident gone wrong, is still there. The plot does seem to go a lot more with the Siamese twins in the comic book compared to the fugitives. So it is a different perspective there. But other than that, though, I'd say the entire plot itself is still basically the same.
I think it would have been cool for them to do kind of a joint perspective with the episode. You know,
Yeah,
like I would like to have known a little bit more about the Siamese twins, and a little less of Bill Paxton screaming about Jesse James and butter.
yeah. There's a lot of butter in this episode.
There is, and like I kind of appreciate it, but also it makes me not want to have butter no more.
No, not at least not in the extent that I used to have it before this episode. No.
Yeah, no. Now, when I said you guys should try butter with vinegar and tahini, I didn't mean take the stick and eat it like Bill Paxton is eating his.
I assume so.
Okay, just throwing that out there in case anyone was going to go ahead and try that.
No. So anyways, one of the things that we do after doing these episodes is we usually try to give them a rating and talk about what we liked about them. And you know, it's usually pretty short, and our ratings usually in between a 1 and a 10. So for this episode, would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
Surprise me.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get mine done out of the way because I never do.
Oh,
so,
okay.
so with this episode, I personally thought it was a very fun episode, regardless to the storyline kind of being not as much on the horror side as I would have normally liked. I still give this episode a 7. The special effects throughout the episode were pretty solid. The gore was good when you see his leg getting just blown off, when you see Mr. Bird's face getting blown off. I mean, even with the hook going into her head, I mean, they did a great job with basically all the things about the horror in general that I love. Um, Brad Dourif's acting in this episode, I would say, is better than most of the movies he's in. I think the fact that he's able to play the character that he played in this episode as well as he did really kind of shows his chops. And I think I think he definitely deserves a lot bigger roles than he gets, to say the least. Bill Paxton, too, even though he definitely kind of played off that kind of crazier kind of guy, he still played it well, that's for sure. And Mr. Bird, I mean, Michael Erner, I mean, the dude's a great fucking actor all the way around. So the cast was great. There's really not much to complain about this one. Like I said, it doesn't go on the horror side as much as you would really like personally, but it hits all the other points. So I'd still give it in between like a 7 or an 8. It's still a fun episode. So what about you, Morgan?
My rating's probably not going to be as high as yours.
That's fine. It doesn't have to be.
I liked the episode. I thought it was a different pace than what they usually provide, which it's nice for a change of pace.
Right.
After hearing you describe to me the comic from the 50s and having watched the episode, I definitely feel like I would have been more impressed by the comic versus the episode.
I usually am too.
Which with a lot of reading, that's how it goes. But more so than usual.
Right.
I just it was hard to follow. It was very cut and dry. The story was very blatant and in your face. It didn't have a lot of like things to make you kind of like get engaged with it necessarily. But like
Right.
the gore was phenomenal. The kill scenes are what kept me watching for sure. I loved the hook to the head, and I really enjoyed the usage of practical squib effects with blowing off good old Ice Cream Man's dome.
Oh yeah, they did a great job.
I wish that
with
they would have
that.
killed Brad in a cooler way.
Yeah. We don't even really get to see the death
You just see like
actually
a
occur.
body
You just see
kind
his
of.
body.
I think he noosed him. I thought I saw like maybe like a something
Yeah,
around
that's
his neck
kind
and
of what
going
it
up
looked
like a
like. Like he was kind of
shadow.
choked out, but I wish they definitely would have showed more too. That's for
Me
sure.
too. Or like more of Bill Paxton's death. It was a very stereotypical shotgun to the face blackout scene kind of thing.
Yeah. I yeah. You're definitely right there. I, they did go with the leg though. I give them that.
The leg was really good. That was probably the best, not the best, but like let's say top 5 blow up moments out of the episodes that I've seen, because it looked legit. Like it looked like someone actually blew him off from the kneecap down, and
Oh yeah.
I realize now how I was saying that was really wrong.
Could be worse.
I would also like to end this now with a rating of 6.9.
Fair enough. That's I said 7.8. You went 0.1 underneath me, and you're like, I'm not gonna rate this as good as you. like you almost did though. I still think that's fair for this
I was
episode.
saying it preemptively because I was gonna give so many criticisms, but I do enjoy the episode mostly for the gore and Brad, because I have a mild childhood crush on Chucky. So
Which is fair. Hopefully, it's Brad Dourif's voice and not so much Ed Gale's body.
it would definitely be his voice. Definitely not the body. Ooh. You kind of put me in a pickle here.
I did too. I'll have to explain that after the show. But no, that's funny anyway. So anyways, that's basically it. So kind of going back to you a little bit now before we go ahead and wrap things up. So you do have stuff coming out, but you can't really say much about it. Um, do you know if the fundraiser and stuff is still going on for the House of Eddie's Flash, or are they done?
I do not think they are still doing the Indiegogo right now. I
Okay.
think Josh is mostly focused on his two newer projects, Late Checkout and Shotgun Hooker, which are both phenomenal titles, and he's going to knock it out of the ballpark.
Right.
Those both have Indiegogos, by the way, live right now. I don't know if I'm going to be a part of them yet, but I will promote the shit out of them.
Right. So you heard it here from her, man. Like, go check out everything she has going on, and those links for those Indiegogos will be in the show notes afterwards. So please go check out what he has going on over there. Check out Morgan. Go to Tubi. Like, come on, guys. Tubi's free. At least check her out on Lilith Ratchet. Like, it's
I'm
not going to
very
cost
young
you
in that, so
anything.
don't mind me. Like an 18-year-old bean
You,
in
you,
that one,
you,
man.
you still do a fun job, that's for sure. And of all the things I was able to see, that's one of them that I can actually personally highly recommend. Especially for being an indie flick. I know a lot of people don't have higher expectations when it comes to an indie film, but this right here, I would say, is definitely a notch above most indie horror films. I don't know how much experience the person directing it had, but I mean, I've seen a lot of really, really bad indie horror films, and this is
Eddie does
definitely one
such
that's
good work. He
it's
does
not bad at
phenomenal work.
all. You know,
He's got quite a few projects that I was not a part of. Well, I was a part of two of them. One of them I cannot really discuss because it's still in production. The other one is American Poltergeist. But he's done other films, and they're all amazing. I cannot pronounce his last name though, and I don't want to try because he'll. The last time I did a podcast, I was promoting American Poltergeist, and I pronounced his last name wrong then. And it's been so long since I've talked to him face to face that I again forgot how to pronounce his last name. So go to one of my pages, and I will have his stuff posted there so that you can get the last name.
it can't be that hard.
It's like Lingel, I believe. Lingel, Lengyl is how it's spelled.
Eddie Lingale.
Yes, I believe.
Yes, yes.
He's done give me a second. Scarred is one of them, which is really good. It's a classic gore fest. He did Mother Krampus, which was another one with Roger Connors. Roger Connors is a phenomenal actor from Ohio as well, and he does amazing horror work. He's doing his own movie right now. It looks phenomenal. Everyone has such amazing projects going on. I'm so happy for them.
He has one that he's filming right now. Like for somebody who's not only just a horror fan but a huge fan of cryptids and paranormal type things. His newest thing that he has going right now that he's filming, House of Crow: Legend of the Melonheads, sounds pretty fucking interesting, to be
It
honest with
does.
you.
It sounds real cool. I was gonna be a part of that, I think, at some point, but I think something happened. The original person came back or something like that. I'm not sure.
Huh, interesting. Well, anyways, I would definitely hope to see you in a lot more stuff. That's for sure. I definitely enjoy what you've done so far and enjoy seeing you on screen. That is 100% for sure there. And just so people go ahead and know, I'm going to go ahead and post your links once again.
Thank you.
No problem. First off, there is her Twitter. Go and check her out on Twitter. And let me go ahead and share this as well. So everyone, you can check out her OnlyFans, her Pocket Stars, and her Fansleys. Go get yourself deeply involved with everything Morgan has going on.
Yeah.
You will definitely enjoy yourself. That's for sure. And Facebook's not gonna let me do that one.
I'm sorry I told you.
No. It's not that one. It's your Twitter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the Twitter. It's not letting me do. of all of them. It's whatever.
My
I
stuff is too spicy for Facebook, guys. I'm so sorry.
oh, I see. I don't get it because like a while back we did an episode on Double Dragon. I don't know if you remember the movie Double Dragon.
I think that was another one my dad and I watched, but it was like a
Wasn't that
one-time
great?
thing.
Well, the only like the best scene in it is like Melissa Milano like going into like this little air vent, and you see her bent over in like booty shorts, and I had a gif of just that as the background going for an hour and a half.
Oh my.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy that that's perfectly acceptable, but a link to my well, I guess I get it because my Twitter is mainly adult-oriented content, but also your 13-year-old shouldn't have a Facebook anyway, so.
right. So for those who cannot see the link, go and write it down. I will give you guys a moment to check it out. Go give her a follow. I'm pretty sure if you just I forget your Instagram name, but I know it's along the same lines of like the
It
more.
is. I changed it recently. I believe it's Morg XA.
Okay. Well, I mean, you go ahead and I mean your Instagram. I believe you have links to it off your Facebook though.
I do. I have
So
that on my Facebook.
yeah, so go check her out. Give her a follow. Like what she's doing. Check out some of her films. I'm sure she would really appreciate it.
I would really appreciate
She would. And I noticed that you have an Amazon wish list on your Twitter.
it. I
Go
do.
and
My
check
birthday is
that out,
coming up on the
guys.
8th.
On the 8th of this month?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you guys, you got 4 days if you want to sit there and show how much you love Morgan and get her something from her Amazon wish list.
It's mostly cosplay stuff.
Who doesn't love cosplay stuff? I mean, there's probably a lot of really cheap things on that list, guys.
There's
Never mind. There's not.
No, you have to be really into me. I'm so sorry. I'm not cheap. It's because cosplay stuff is so expensive. It is. The tie suit that I want to get for Gwen from Spider-Man is like $70.
That's still not that bad, really, when you think about what it is.
All right. Well, if that's not bad, then you will find my Amazon list quite reasonable.
Let's see. So go and check it out, and that will be found at her Twitter page, which Facebook won't let me show, so write it down. Twitter.com/MorgXA.
So sorry.
It's okay. Facebook is just being a dick right now.
Before I get off of here, I promised a pal that I would talk about his horror box really quick.
Oh, feel.
I'm so
free
sorry.
to.
Okay. Don't Eat the Gum is a horror box that you can get monthly, and it is customizable, and it is worth every single penny. He sent me one, and this is one of the things that I can readily accessibly show you. I have a huge thing for trauma. I grew up on the Toxic Crusaders, which led to the Toxic Avenger, which led to shit like Father's Day, and that's why I'm so fucked up now. Anyway, this was in my box.
You're an Astron 6 fan?
Huh?
You're an Astron 6 fan?
Yes.
Oh, I love Matthew Kennedy. He's like one of the greatest actors ever.
This is the coolest thing ever. And he typically sends like between 5 to 8 items. They're usually like either big size like this, or you get like collectible toys and shit. But yeah, Don't Eat the Gum on Instagram. Please check them out.
That's really cool. I will go ahead and definitely check them out personally and everything. And you should actually tell him to go ahead and get a hold of me at some point in time.
Yeah? Okay, cool. He would love that.
I've been definitely wanting to hook up with somebody who does something more in that realm. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff like that I get a hold of is more comic booky than horror.
Yeah.
So, I'll have to talk to you about that later, but definitely. And that's really, really cool. I will be getting the links for that as well, and that will also be in the show notes for everybody to check out too.
Thank you.
So please check that out. I mean, who doesn't want to support horror? We're all fans of it here. If you're watching it, especially for this long, and I'm be honest, quite a few of you have been. I can see the numbers over there. Please check out everything that's going on there. Support all these indie horror people. Support these indie or smaller horror shops. Keep them around. If this is something that you love, you definitely got to help support it. Otherwise, these things don't last forever.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share with that after that?
No, I don't think so. I officially have run out of things to talk about for myself.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess well, you did a great job. I had a
Thank
lot of
you.
fun with you on here, and thank you so much for coming on. It's been a fucking blast.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
gonna go ahead and get us out of here. So, if you want to, feel free to wait, and we can chat after the show for a second. If you have to go, feel free to do what you got to do.
Okay.
But with that being said, the crypt is closed.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.